I guess it started, of course, with a belief in the importance of public, transparent government.
The Journal Constitution was always up before the Supreme Court on some First Amendment matter, saying that it represented the public and the press. Justice said, well, you say that, but it's always you guys at the AJC that are making that argument. Basically concluded that we might need a broader, more inclusive voice on these issues.
We started in 1994. And then I came along in '96.
Back then, government officials often talked and definitely thought, as they may still do, that transparency is all good, but you get more stuff done if you can do it in secret without a lot of people watching.
Georgia is a state that has had a long tradition of keeping government kind of closed, and that changed dramatically over the last 2 decades after the Georgia First Amendment Foundation and others in government really pushed to open up government in Georgia.
It is the only organization that is specifically dedicated to government transparency in Georgia. There are other First Amendment type causes, but this is the only one really dedicated to government transparency. And so it's a tremendous educator for the public and for journalists about the laws that protect government transparency, open records laws, open meetings laws.
So much of the litigation around the entire country around First Amendment issues and protecting the right to protest, protecting art and culture, protecting journalistic access. So much of that comes from cases that started in Georgia.
I used to have a big joke when I first started, oh, this organization is going to be so successful it won't be needed anymore. Well, sadly, every year there's a new crop of elected officials, appointed officials, folks who aren't familiar with the Sunshine Laws.
The difficulties are baked into human beings who have a tendency to not be forthcoming, especially if they're things that might be embarrassing or that they don't want publicized.
The Georgia First Amendment Foundation has done tremendous work over the last 30 years. The amicus briefs that we have filed in cases that matter on what's open to the public or not matters. And I think we've become that credible place for local government to partner with on training with their local officials. And I think we need to do more of that.
We are active with online media, with television, with radio, still with newspapers, which have a significant influence, but then also very much with citizen issues as well. And so to me, that's evolved a great deal.
We've come a long way in building a wonderful organization that people trust and rely on and now call on for issues like this.
When we file an amicus brief, the court tends to notice. The court tends to take it seriously. The court sees us as a group that's thinking seriously about these issues.
In the main, I think many of the future battles will be an outgrowth of the line from the song, You Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. And the line is, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. In other words, I expect that many of the transparency issues that we'll see in the coming years will be variations on the issues that we've seen in recent years.
It's not a battle that ever gets won. It's always changing, and you always have to be adapting to whatever the new ways are to keep things secret.
And there's a lot of distrust of government and distrust of information right now, and that's an opportunity for us. It may come from different places for different people, but it's ultimately an opportunity because open government, if it works the way it's supposed to, means that you get at truth.
Aspects of the Sunshine Laws contemplate a traditional media person or reporter, and now just about everybody's a reporter. So how do the laws contemplate that?
Kind of counterintuitive. You'd think as things go, more information gets digitized, that it would be public access should get easier, but it also makes it easier to deny public access.
I think a major frontier will continue to be digital, and the way that we interact with our government officials is increasingly online and in digital public forums. The people have a right to be heard by their government officials in forums that develop in what may appear to be an unusual place, a public forum occurring on Facebook, but it is legally a technical possibility. And so I think that and other issues arising in the digital domain, that is where the future of the First Amendment Foundation likely is.
We've done a good job of getting relatively well known, but we have to be relentless. Otherwise, we'll slide back.
We as an organization need to remain grassroots, we need to remain nimble, and we need to be able to think from the perspective of what does the public need to know and understand about how government works.
And GFAF sits in an incredible position with a lot of backbone and I think a lot of principle. And so over the coming years, we need to remain courageous and principled. And sometimes that can be incredibly hard for people, but I know that we can do it. We need more good lawyers and journalists and others to join the board over the coming years. We need diverse people, we need women, we need people of color. We need the board to look like the way we want free speech to look, which is for everyone.
I think that the Weltner Banquet is an incredible opportunity every year to showcase the impact we've had on Georgia, to showcase the people who fight for the First Amendment values in Georgia.
It really helps celebrate and remind Georgians that there is a long, rich history of advocacy and, dare I say, stalwarts in our state that protect and uphold free expression, government transparency.
We're honored to serve the public interest at the Georgia First Amendment Foundation, and we would love for others to join us to support our critical mission, become a member, make a donation, attend one of our events. We need you with us in taking action to preserve the rights of all Georgians.
The people who come to the banquet every year, who follow the activities, who keep up with the inner workings of the First Amendment Foundation are really amazing public servants in many ways.
The foundation has flowered, I think, particularly in recent years, in a way that gives great hope that it will be an enduring presence and voice for continued openness in Georgia.
I would be remiss if I didn't thank all of the board members, past, present, and future, who have come together to make meaningful and valuable contributions. We would literally not be here without you, and so my eternal gratitude to all of you.
Add my thanks to all the people that have kept the organization vibrant and made it much better than I could have ever envisioned.